The southwestern state of Osun, Nigeria, is getting set to head to the polls on the 16th of July 2022. Ahead of the election, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, has ordered the deployment of the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the Force Criminal Investigation Department and the supervisory DIG for the Southwest Geopolitical Zone, DIG Johnson Kokumo, to boost security in the state this weekend. The top 5 governorship candidates in Osun State participated in a governorship debate where they laid out their plans for the electorate if voted into office. Governor Gboyega Oyetola, who is seeking re-election, said his government has created jobs and ensured safety of the people, adding that the state is the most peaceful in the country. But he faces major competition from Ademola Adeleke of the People's Democratic Party, Yusuf Lasun of the Labour Party, Oyegoke Omigbodun of the Social Democratic Party, and Akin Ogunbiyi of the Accord Party. Joining us on this show this morning to discuss the forthcoming Osun State governorship election is Kolapo Alimi, Osun State former Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs and a member of the PDP, and Mark Adebayo, a human rights activist, a member media committee of the Osun State Campaign Council for the All Progressives Congress. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Good to have you with us. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abati.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Well, quickly, this question is for both of you. How is it going in Osun, particularly with regard to the threat of violence and fears that there could be, massive violence? And I ask this question in the light of what happened yesterday with Honorable Lasun Yusuf of the Labour Party reporting via social media that his home was being attacked by assailants, gunmen, unknown gunmen. But at the end of the day, he was able, to survive that assault. And that has driven up fears that Saturday could be a major, moment of violence or horror. And all of this also against the background of the fact that there's no love lost among some of the major gladiators. Let me start with you, Kolapo Alimi.
Well, thank you. Good morning, our viewers at home. Your question is very, very sacrosanct in the sense that as it is now, there is tension in the air in the states, most especially in the light of what happened to Engineer Lasun Yusuf, one of the aspirants. And people are afraid of if that kind of things are happening now, what is it that is going to happen on the day of the election and some days to the election? We can only plead with the power that be, most especially the ruling party, the All Progressive Congress. They are the one in power. We want to urge the government to be liberal, to be real and genuine Democrats. This is a democracy and this is Nigeria. We want to plead with them. They have the power. They should not deploy and use the power against the people they are governing. The government of the day should respect the democratic choice of also citizens. Everybody under democracy has right to his own choice. So there is no reason for anybody to try to intimidate any other person. We have been hearing the importation of some notable talks from our neighboring states into the states. We heard that all hotel in the states right now has been booked. They are having their mega rally today. Wonder whether we are actually going to war or we are going for the election. But we know that our people are determined and they want democracy to triumph. There is no amount of intimidation that can prevent our people from going out on Saturday and vote according to their conscience. But notwithstanding, we don't want casualty, we don't want victims. We want to urge the government of the day to make sure they respect the democratic choice of the people of Osun.
Well, Honorable Alimi, this is quite interesting. You are suggesting that the APC is responsible for the threats of violence. But you used to be a member of the same party, the All Progressives Congress, before you crossed over to the PDP. But Mark Adebayo, let me come to you. Is the APC guilty, as suggested by Honorable Alimi?
Let me start by saying that the violent attack on the residence of Honorable Lasu Yusuf was not only unfortunate, but highly reprehensible, condemnable, and unacceptable. You know, the people of Osun State, in the 31 years of existence of that state, since its creation on August 27, 1991, we have always known that Osun people are peaceful people. That's my state. We are peaceful people. We don't believe in violence. We don't believe in political thuggery. What happened was absolutely condemnable, and we should not play politics with it. So whoever was responsible for that attack did not mean well for Osun State, did not mean well for the election on Saturday. But I would like to be on an optimistic side that on come Saturday, sense will prevail, humanity will prevail, and wisdom will prevail, and that we are going to have a peaceful election in Osun State. I want to believe that the security agencies will be on top of their game to ensure that they forestall any whatever manner of violence that anybody might be planning. Let us wait for police investigation to determine who are involved in that attack and not begin to point fingers at anybody. I just want to appeal to people, all gladiators, all political actors in this election, not to sort of heat up the polity in the state. We should just condemn what is condemnable and accept what is acceptable. All of us, everybody must come together and allow peace to reign come Saturday. It's not a time for pointing fingers. Let the investigation be done and then let the culprits be arrested and prosecuted. I think that's basic. Like I said, it's condemnable. That attack is condemnable. It's reprehensible. It's something that is unacceptable. You know, in a state that is known for its peaceful coexistence among its various peoples, irrespective of political differences or whatsoever. I think nobody should be attacked. Nobody should be injured. Nobody should be killed. That is not who we are in Osun State. That's not who we are. And nobody should import that into Osun State. I just want to appeal to everybody to be calm, and let's go into this and be responsible about it.
Well, I'm sure it's extremely reassuring for some people to hear you, Mr. Adebayo, so soundly condemn that attack on Honorable Yusuf Lasun. But we must remember exactly what that attack was. There were gunmen in his house. He has bullet holes in his home to show it, and they were clearly after his life, which also leads to the point now about security, because you, the APC, you have the power of incumbency. What have you done about insecurity in Osun State, and exactly what efforts are being made to apprehend these gunmen and other people behind problems that we've seen in Osun State, and hopefully this will be the last that we see leading up to the elections? But what assurances can you give other political parties and the general public about security in Osun State?
As an individual and as an activist, I give you assurances. I do not think that is within the purview of my responsibility. I think I want to believe that the security agencies will be doing their investigation, and I'm sure they want to try and make sure they unveil the characters behind this that sadly hurt. That's what I want to believe. I want to believe that everybody will see reason why there must be a peaceful election in Osun State on Saturday. I want to believe that I do not believe that there's any government that want to be happy that there is violence in his state over which it presides. And I want to believe that those who did that actually wanted to drive a narrative to suggest that probably the government in power or the party in power orchestrated that. Everybody, an attack like that, somebody will look for a scapegoat or somebody to blame, and naturally they probably want to look in the direction of the opponents. This is, the kind of atrocious environment that determines the political environment of Nigeria. We always make people want to suspect the other people that they are running with, the opponents, is always guilty of whatever happens to them. That's why I said I'm not into this business of buck passing or pointing fingers until the police have come out with their investigations. The security in the state is the job of everybody, whether you're a politician or not a politician, whether you are running or you are not running. What is important that everybody must come to the table and make sure that we have a peaceful election in Osun State. And that is the only way that you can protect the interest of the generality of the electorate and the people at large. That is much more important than looking for... I pray sincerely that these guys are apprehended so that whoever is behind them, whoever is their sponsors, can be unveiled. You know, and there's another narrative to it, that people believe that maybe it was done on purpose, just, cut your nose to spice your face. Probably some people sponsor these things to make sure there is there's crisis in the state, that there will not be election or there will not be peaceful election and all those things. We do know that there are bad characters in the Nigerian political space who do not want peace in this country. But they are going to be defeated. The people who are going to win on Saturday are going to be the people of Osun State themselves. And I'm sure that everybody will come together to ensure that it's peaceful election. People should just avoid, should eschew any kind of violent conduct and should not react, to people who want to provoke them into counter-violence. Everybody must ensure that it's peace on Saturday. And that is the only way that all Osun people can be winners on Saturday. It's not going to be the politicians who are going to win. It's not going to be PDP. It's not going to be APC. It's going to be Labour Party. It's going to be the people of Osun State who will come together and pick a governor that they believe will serve them better.
I'll ask both of you this question. I posit a scenario. What if there was a fatality in that attack? Will this have been the argument by both parties? Would the election still be sensible to, be held? I'd like anybody to go first.
Can I just go first, because Mr. Mark Adebayo has been the one speaking?
Yes.
I want to appreciate Mr. Mark Adebayo. He has not really spoken as a politician. He has spoken more like an activist, which he is, than being a politician. That's why he's talking that way. I listened to Engineer Lasun Yusuf, and after the attack, he said proud to that attack, some hoodlums loyal to the ruling party stopped him, and they were attacking him. They were attacked openly. That it took the intervention of some people and his patience to avert trouble that very day. And he said the CP and the police that has come, he has mentioned the names of those suspected that happen to be the one, And so without being the spokesperson of Engineer Lasun Yusuf, we know those who have the capacity to do things like that in these states. You cannot just have that audacity to go to Engineer Lasun Yusuf, who equally have security around him, without having the backing of the states. And we know those who have been moving around with talks. There is this allegation that some talks are across the Southwest under the leadership of one notorious person. They have had meetings and they want to unleash terror on the states. But I said at it earlier that I appreciate the way Mr. Mark Adebayo has spoken. I hope the government of the day will adopt the spirit. And Mr. Dr. Abati asked me a question the other time that I was a member of APC. That is very correct. But when I was there, when Adebayo was there, some people say one thing or the other. But look at what happened in Osun today. PDP today, on Thursday, we would like to have our mega rally. We apply for the stadium, they block it. We apply for the Freedom Park, they block it. We apply for the Technical College, they block it. All the available spaces which we could use for that rally has been blocked by the government. That was never happened during Adebayo. You understand it? So what I want to say is that it depends on the leadership and the tolerance. Some people might be silent, but there are some people that are very silent and very, very dangerous. Some people might be outspoken, and they will just speak out their mind. So what I'm saying in essence is that the style of the current government in this state is a very dangerous one. Anybody in this state know that the current occupant of the government house, they are only silent but very, very dangerous. And you could just trace it to what has been happening in APC before some of us move out of the APC. But what I want to say is that I said it once more, that I appreciate and adopt what majority of what Mr. Mark Adebayo said. And I hope that the government of the day will see reason why this election must be peaceful. You don't need to step, just like Dr. Goodluck Billy Jonathan said, you don't need to step on the blood of innocent citizens before you get to power. Power is given by God. If God said you are going to be there, you are going to be there. When God said Governor Utola will be there, though with very slim margin, he is there today. If God said he will still be there, he will be there. If God said no, there's no amount of threat and intimidation that can make it happen. So if you have that faith, it is better for you to know that there are lives after election. You don't continue to threat people around. And let me say one thing. Police has gone to that place, has gone to Engineer Lasun Yusuf's house. They have confirmed the attack, and all the suspects, they are on the run already. Those people that are suspected, if they are not the one who carry out the attack, they should be bold enough to face the police and defend themselves. So what I'm saying in essence is that as it is today, just like one of the presenters said, that the only people that has the capacity, using the power of incumbency, to unleash terror on the day of the election or before is the government in power. If any other person try it, it will be apprehended even before taking the action. So we are only urging the government. We are only urging them, both at the federal and at the state and at the neighboring state. Today, as I'm speaking now, when you get to Osun, you see all the power brokers in APC today in Osun. You see them with the retinue of a talks, both orthodox and of a security, both orthodox and unorthodox. You see them moving around as if we are going to war on Saturday. So I want to urge the government, and I urge our people not to be intimidated. People have said they will not be intimidated, but it gets to a certain level. When you see that people are wielding guns, they are attacking those people with the security. If those people with the security could be attacked, how much more those of us without security? As I'm speaking now, for the past 3 days, if I move in this vehicle today, I move in another vehicle. Why should it be like that? It is just because your life is not safe. Anybody that see you, they say that please be careful of your security, be careful of your security, beware of your security. Why? Are we going to war? We can only hold those who have the capacity to unleash violence on the people. To please take it easy. Thank you.
You wanted Mark Adebayo.
I wanted Mark Adebayo to have a take on it.
Is he still with us?
Okay, can I go now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Well, like Rufai asked, the issue is that if it had happened, if there had been fatality, especially on the side of Honorable Lasun Yusuf or any of his entourage, it would have been bad news for Osun State. It would have been very bad for everybody. But I would have loved if there was fatality on the part of the attackers, so that at least whoever was behind that attack will have been unveiled. So the issue now is that, unfortunately, I cannot hear what my co-panelist has been saying clearly, but I can see that he's trying to allege that probably APC elements or the incumbent was responsible for that attack. He who alleges, the onus is on who alleges to prove the allegations. Does he have any proof to that effect? If he doesn't have a proof, I think it's just a mere dangerous speculation, or let me call it empty speculation. At this point, we should allow the security agencies to do their investigations and come up with whatever they have discovered. We should not start. It is premature to begin to point fingers now. Anybody who knows Governor Oyetola will know that he's an extremely personable individual, accommodating, and a complete gentleman who will never dip his hand in anything that is violent. Analysis so far, most of the analysis have been that it's a straight battle between the APC and the PDP. Why would anybody want to attack a candidate that has not been considered as a threat in this election. I think we should not politicize everything. What has happened is condemnable, straightforward. I would never be a party to for violent. I'm a human rights activist. I do not believe in violent political engagements. So what we should do is to condemn what has happened and urge the security agencies that are relevant to this type of situation to do their job and deliver on their job and unveil those who are behind this dastardly act. Because these people, whoever did this, whoever planned this event, this incident, is an enemy of Osun State. Is an enemy of Osun people. So that kind of person cannot be considered, in fact, cannot be considered a human being. So it is, we should not, if people are looking for a way to blackmail the incumbent governor, that's too extreme. That's too extreme. That kind of extreme, atrocious politicking is not in the character of somebody like Governor Yutola, an extremely gentle, humane human being, very personable. That is he would never descend so low as to go and orchestrate that. What if people? There are some people in the state who are saying that even that Honorable Lasu Yusuf himself orchestrated that attack on himself just to get a sympathy vote. You understand? So we should not be bandying, in speculations that have no basis in fact. What is important is for all stakeholders to come together to ensure peaceful election on Saturday. Let the Osun people decide.
Thank you,
On my part,
Thank
and
you.
some of us majority of the people believe that Oyetola has performed well and should return as governor.
Well, point well made. But let me come back to you, Honorable Alimi. Your candidate, Senator Ademola Adeleke, famously said in May that he had just returned from abroad and that he had returned with a lot of pound sterling and euro and foreign currency, and that if it is a matter of money, that he was ready, that he would deploy money and deploy fire for fire. It was quoted as saying, in fact, the video went viral. So how much money has he spent so far? And now, have the dollars, the pound sterling, the euros started moving around the streets of Osun and the various local governments. And I hope he's not going to unleash fire because he says so with his own mouth. What do you know about this?
It's quite unfortunate that Mr. Mark Adebayo said he could not hear me. I don't know what's wrong with his earpiece, and I can hear him very, very well, loud and clear here. And it's quite unfortunate. We'll have known that I've responded adequately to his allegations that, as I said, I'm not a spokesman of Engineer Lasu Yusuf, but I heard him. He mentioned, he said he knows those that could have been behind those attacks. And he said he has given the names to the police, and those people have been on the run. So let's leave that one. But quite to God be the glory that there are no casualties in that attack. It's quite unfortunate, and we hope it won't repeat itself. Now, coming to the question of Dr. Abati, when once beaten, twice shy, I hope when you know what happened in Osun in 2018, and most especially during the rerun, I was part and parcel of APC then. You sympathize with Senator Nurudeen Ademola Adeleke, somebody who people consider as an underdog. They didn't give him any chance. And he came around and he led APC at the first ballot of September 22 with 353 votes, only for it to be upturned during the rerun, And so he discovered that, APC actually will be spending the government money, if not for the mere fact that Adeleke family happen to be a very large and very comfortable family. There is no such individual who will contest and spend the money. There's no way you contest election in Nigeria and you will not spend money. You have to spend money to run your campaign. You have to spend money for your agent and so on and so forth to do logistics. And then there's no such a person that will spend such a huge amount of money 3.5 years ago and will still be buoyant enough to today. But to God be the glory. But as it is today, with statement he made, when he has clarified it that he was actually talking about bringing some foreign investors and then being philanthropists and so. But when you look at the context of which he said, if, it's a conditional statement. When you see what the APC is actually planning, the way they brag around their local leaders around, that they will do this, they have money will come from Lagos, money will come from this place, money from Osun, and they have a leader that can spend money anyhow, and so if you don't reassure your own supporters, there is this psychological war, even in real war, there is propaganda. When your people are already defeated psychologically, they will not be able to stand. So he needs to assure and reassure his supporters. And when you see what has been happening so far, you will discover that there is no that individual who can unleash terror during this period, except those in government. You can never do it. If they suspect you, just a mere suspect, that you have arms and ammunition, they can storm your house and you'll be arrested. But if arms and ammunition is kept where the government has interest, nobody will go there. Even the police will still be guarding it. So don't overflow the issue when you know if you're a practical politician and you know the politics that is being played, you marvel. And those people who have been saying Alhaji Isiaka Itala is a very gentleman and so on and so forth, they have never worked closely with him. Those of us who have worked closely with him, we know who he is. Some people might be silent, but might be very, very dangerous. We work with him closely as chief of staff for 8 years. We have worked with him, and people who attest. To attest if somebody who has worked under somebody for 8 years design a policy to make sure the person become unknown, to make sure he excommunicates such a person. And you are calling such a person a gentleman. That is not an attribute of a gentleman. We know the Osun people today know that this man is I will use this very strong word. It's not as gentle as people are thinking. And they are ready, powerfully, more determined, more than ever, to make sure he's spotted out. And you will see, all of us, may God give us lives, may we witness this election peacefully. We will discover and see that on Saturday, people will vote him out. Because as it is today, apart from the fact that there's nothing to write home about, people have seen him in his true color. Before he was elected, every one of us, we believe that, yes, actually, it was like this. But you have known his true color. So there's no amount of packaging again. And that is why you see the government of the day running eta-sketa. Let me give you an instance. When Adebayo was to go for second term, apart from the fact that the PDP was at the federal, he was so comfortable to the extent that what we were planning was how to prevent rigging. Nobody was actually planning to rig the election. And at the end of the day, Adebayo defeated Senator Misoro of SDP with over 100,000 votes plus. That's a sign of when you have performed. But when you have underperformed and people thought you are so, and you are the other side, or you are the contrary of that, then you see that you have to be running a task-getter. God willing, may God give us life, you will see the margin of victory between Senator Ademola Adeleke and Governor Yetolana will be wide. Adeleke will defeat him with wide margin. So let us forget about somebody being gentle.
Okay, thank you so much. We look forward to the elections and may the best man win. Thank you both for your time. Really appreciate you both for your time.